All right, let's get into it. We see these financial formulas all the time, and it's easy to think of them as just boring math. But what if we looked at them differently? What if we saw them as the script for a story, the story of your money's journey through time? So today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to decode that story.
So let me start by asking you a question, a really direct one. Where will your money be in 10 years? And this isn't some hypothetical, philosophical question. It's a real-world problem that actually has a clear answer. And believe it or not, we're about to find the exact tools to solve it. Every great story has a beginning, a starting point. And in the financial story of your money, that beginning has a very specific name. It's called present value. Present value, or PV for short, is really simple. It's the amount of money you have right now. The source material literally calls it the amount you invest today, with all those exclamation points. It's chapter 1. It's the "You Are Here" sticker on our financial map. Okay, so you've got your starting point, but your money doesn't just sit there, does it? Nope. It starts a journey, and that journey needs two things to get going. It needs fuel, and it needs a path to travel on. That's our interest and our time. So how does your money actually make this trip from the present to the future? Well, it's powered by those two key forces we just mentioned, the interest rate, which we'll call I, and the amount of time, the number of periods, which we'll call N. These two things are the engine that makes your money grow. Now this is where things get really, really interesting, because it turns out there are two different kinds of engines for this journey. On one hand, you've got simple interest. Think of it like a straight, predictable road. The growth is steady, it's reliable. But then, you've got compound interest, and folks, that is a rocket ship. That's where your interest starts earning its own interest, and you get this incredible exponential growth. See that little n up there as an exponent? That changes everything. So, you've started your journey. The engine is fired up, but where are we actually going? Every journey needs a destination, right? And in our story, that destination is the future value. And future value, or FV, is exactly what it sounds like. It's the grand finale, the final balance at the end of the story. It's what your money grows into after it's traveled through time, powered by that engine of interest. And this right here just nails the whole point. The source material puts it so perfectly. The difference between your future value and your present value, that's the interest you've earned. In actual dollars, that's the whole plot of the story. The growth, that's the treasure you find at the end.
Okay, so we have our map, we know the key landmarks, PV, FV, I, and N. Now comes the fun part. Let's use this map to solve a real problem, almost like we're financial detectives trying to crack a case.
I want you to imagine a scenario. Let's say you know exactly where you want to end up. You have a goal in mind, a specific amount of money. But you have no idea how powerful your investment engine needs to be to get you there. In other words, you need to figure out the interest rate. So the source material lays out a challenge for us. Our destination is a cool $20,000. We know our starting point, our initial investment, is $8,845.71. And we know how long the path is. We've got 10 years. The only piece of the map that's missing is I. What is the interest rate we need to make it happen? And the key to unlocking this whole mystery, the one tool we need, is our master formula for compound interest. FV equals PV times, in parentheses, 1 plus I, all raised to the power of N. Everything we need is hiding right inside that one beautiful equation. So now we just have to do a little bit of algebra to rearrange the formula and find our missing piece I. Don't worry, it's easier than it looks. First, we get the growth part by itself by dividing FV by PV. Then, to get rid of that pesky n exponent, we take the nth root of both sides. And finally, we just subtract 1 to get I all alone. It's just a few simple steps to find exactly what we're looking for. And when we plug in our numbers from the problem and run the calculation, what do we get? Boom, 8.50%. That's it. That's the engine power we need. An 8.5% annual interest rate is what it takes to turn our $8,845 into $20,000 in just 10 years. The puzzle is solved. And this is the really crucial thing to understand. This formula isn't just a one-trick pony. It's not just for finding the interest rate. It's a complete financial map. If you know any three of the pieces, you can always find the fourth. Think about it. You can solve for your destination, the future value. You can work backward to find out how much you need to start with, the present value. We just found the engine's power, I. And, as the source notes point out, you can even use logarithms to solve for n, to figure out exactly how long the journey is going to take. You can find any part of the story you need. So there you have it. You have the map, and now you know how to read it. You understand the language of your money's journey through time. So the only real question left is, what story are you going to write?